There it goes. I had to double click it. I can't remember how to fucking do it. Alright. Making a video because I'm fucking pissed off that people don't understand how to make fucking builds correctly in this game. And I've tried a few of them, and there's lack of in some, and then there's some that come together very nicely, but there are things that just don't make sense in this game. We're going to start with a Runic build, for instance. Something that's irritating me. Where is that stupid thing? Here it is. Talisman of Unbound Potential. This isn't even a fucking purple rare, it's a blue rare. What would be nice about this is if they would drop the stupid defense stat on it, go ahead and keep the Runic and just buff it to like an overall 20 or whatever. And where it refreshes the cooldowns on the passive effect that increases Runic when a Runic attack is on cooldown. This is just an effect for one, as far as I know, because we're sitting at 236. So let's see what the buff does. Throw that one. Alright, let's just look real quick. Oh, stupid. See, it's not even giving the buff on it. It's still showing 236. That's what's irritating. It doesn't even show it. So you don't even know how much fucking rune buff that you're getting. Fucking irritating. So this was fucking killing me. So I've got shit on cooldown now, and it's not even showing on my fucking stats. See, look, boy. Look! See what I mean? It's only 236. That's fucking stupid. It doesn't even tell you. I think it's not even doing... I think what it does is when you have one on cooldown, you get a Runic increase from that cooldown, and that's it. Not all of them. It doesn't stack. It's just if one of them or four of them, you just get one bonus of Runic. They should let it stack, and then they should fucking take it off where you can actually see it on paper. That way you know exactly how much you're fucking getting, because this is stupid. It doesn't even show it. And if they're going to do it, and they're going to do it on a fucking shitty talisman, like this is a badass talisman, but it could be better. They could, like I said, drop the defense and then make it to where when a Runic is on cooldown, but let them stack. So if all four of your cooldowns for your Runics are on cooldown, then you get 4 bonuses of Runic and not just one. And then, like I said, instead it doesn't even fucking show it over there. That's irritating. That's off paper like that. In conjunction with that, one of the reasons why Runic is the best that it is if you set it up perfectly, and I don't know why more people don't stack emulation. When you have... Where's Permafrost? Permafrost right there. Performs an attack, quick succession, yada yada yada, and after it inflicts frost damage on every hit and it starts to power up, it begins to get Permafrost on there. Same thing with your blades. You have the emulation, which this one has a stack of 2. You've got 1, and you start to get a bonus to luck and Runic, and then on the second one it increases the amount of emulation gain on every successful blades hit. So the more you hit without getting hit, you begin to get emulation or Permafrost, depending on which one you're using, and it basically increases your elemental damage. When you're doing elemental damage, your buff from your Runic increases both Runic attack and elemental damage. So when you're doing elemental with your emulation, you're getting a bonus to elemental damage depending on how high your Runic is. So if you run a Runic build, doesn't matter what gear you're running, I think the Deadly Mist is the best because you get the best stack with Vitality. But having that amulet, and if it was set up like I said it was, with the bonus to the emulation and the Permafrost, and if you'll go into your actual gear and you'll actually put... I've only found 2 so far, and I haven't had anything else drop. I've got the Momentum Mastery, and let's see, Mark of the Element, Cycle of the Weapon. Increases the rate of Permafrost or emulation gain by 7%, stacks up to 21%. 7 plus 7 is only 14, which means you can't get to 21% on this max stack, unless it's accounting for what's already buffed in your skills, which it doesn't really say, which that's kind of irritating. Means there should be a third one to drop off somewhere. It's potential to have another one. I don't know if anyone else has gotten one. I haven't got one to drop, and I've grinded the fuck out of Muspelheim and Niflheim, and I cannot get one to fall. So that means it's either a typo for something that's not possible yet, or when DLC comes and they're going to put it in later and you might be able to get another one. but that's the best way to get a buff to the elemental damage. And then going ahead and buffing your elemental damage, period, by dropping sockets that increase burn damage, and then by dropping sockets that increase your actual frost damage. So basically, the more you hit without getting hit, your emulation will gain. You'll go ahead, you'll get that buff from Runic to elemental damage, plus you're getting stack of frost damage and burn damage on top of that, and then your overall Runic anyways. And if you use one of your Runic abilities and you get it on cooldown, that's another buff to Runic that's not showing, that's off paper, that I really wish it would implement it into your actual stats over here to when it's on cooldown. It'd actually buff it and you could see what your true buffs are getting off of that, especially like if you've got Heart of the Valkyrie or something else on whenever it goes to get that buff. It would actually show you and make the difference in your stats so you could tell what you're getting, because you don't really know what you're getting right now. But as far as everything else goes, I've tried to run cooldown builds and shit. They're kind of pointless, where you're getting cooldown, your cooldowns are resetting quicker, but you're not getting that much damage out of it. You can spam your Runic faster, and it's really not that much, to be honest with you. It cools down just as fast on the other. There's not that much of a difference depending on how you fight. If you're trying to use it, I could understand that, but it's silly. You really don't get that much of a buff to cooldowns, and you're not really getting that much damage off of them because you're sacrificing shit for cooldown to put on stuff that you could be getting more damage out of anyways. So I think those are some adjustments that could be made in the game that they could look into. That way you can actually grind and tell what kind of strength buffs you're getting, to debate whether you even want to fucking use this amulet or not, which this is a great amulet, even it being like it is and being in the blue phase. And like I'm saying, that's what's irritating me. It's a blue amulet. It's not even that great. You have fucking yellow ones in here that are legendary or epic or whatever the fuck you want to call them, that are just, I think they're fucking worthless. That's like the fucking glove, whatever it was, the fucking jack-off glove. You basically one-shot a motherfucker, and then you gotta wait for the cooldown, and the only thing beneficial about it is the 3 open sockets in it, so they basically cut the level down, and I guess you could say underpowered it or whatever. I don't even think it made that much of a difference. Really, the benefit is to have the 3 open sockets to stack shit on, because once you use it, I mean, it's used until it fucking burns back on cooldown. It's only good for like a second or two, where you can take out 2 guys or whatever. I don't know. I feel like I'm more beneficial in weakening the guys around me and making it to where they can't disrupt me when I'm attacking or whatever the case may be. But this one by itself, this would be a totally awesome one. If you're going to take a blue one like this, at least, you know, you're going to give it that type of perk, drop the rest of the shit on it and let it do what it needs to do and get that bonus of Runic, and let it stack 4 times for everyone that's on cooldown. That way you can drop all your Runics, have 4 on cooldown, and get the 4 buffs from it of Runic to get stacked on top of what you have to get that ultimate power that makes it worth using, because this really isn't all that great. To have that on this would make this a more unique talisman, especially for a rare. It's level 7, which shit goes up to level 8, but I mean, I think it'd be more beneficial because you don't really get a lot more off anything else. Some of them are alright. I didn't even buff this one. I don't like it. I seen how it works. It's crap. This one, after, you know, they dropped the stat drop on it. See, even they did the stat drop on this one and made it a level 5 and put the 3 open sockets in it. It made it beneficial to have 3 open sockets. They could do that to this one and drop the defense on it and just keep the Runic, make it a strictly 4 Runic, and then let it do that, have that add-on on the bottom and have this 4 stacks on it. This was actually a really cool one to have. Other than that, I think I was using this one. I didn't really use that one. It's alright. I mean, depending on what you want to do. This one's alright. I'm trying to go for the ones that either had the cooldown or the Runic on there. Cooldowns, I mean, you can spam Runics over and over, which is kind of cool, but you don't really get any damage out of them. You do more damage having actual Runic adjusted to your character. The emulation build on there to be able to gain that elemental damage faster, and then to be able to stack elemental damage on your sockets, that's, you put out a nasty amount of fucking damage. I just wish I knew exactly how much it was, and that way would possibly do a hot patch, or do it next on the next patch, put a fix in there where we could see that kind of stuff. Hopefully when DLC comes, when it does, because you got all these fucking super nerds out here that if there was a way to get into these other realms already, I'm sure one of them would have figured it out by now. Anorak, the all-knowing, would have dropped them a fucking key and we would have got into it. So they're going to have to put a DLC in to get in there by now. So we're gonna get them. But other than that, the build's fucking sick like that. Just to be able to gain emulation the way that you do off your normal swinging and attacking and hitting, it makes you grind and fight harder to go to get that buff in general. And when I mean, dude, you know you're doing damage when his shit starts lighting up and glowing and you're just non-stop cleaving into fucking people. It's insane how fucking fast you drop people. I don't particularly care to run Niflheim that much. I don't think it's as consistent as running Muspelheim. I mean, you gotta run fucking the loot that you need in each one as far as money goes. But just in general, I think Muspelheim, I don't know, I guess it depends what you're trying to get. I've noticed more socketable items drop in Niflheim for me that are like legendary or rare, epic, whatever the hell you want to call them. I got a lot of purple and blues, and I'll get gold to drop every once in a while, so. As far as that goes, running your pommels and shit the way that you want. I think everybody's figured out that Surters is probably the best way to go, even though it's got a low perk activation chance on it. It's way more OP than everything else, which is nice. You get that little health boost, and then you can consistently chunk fucking waves out. It just fucking looks badass. As far as the blades, there's 3 that you can go with. That, I don't know. That's why another reason I want to see what the Runic buff is, because the one that I'm carrying, I think it's the Valkyrie handles on my Chaos blades. You'll get a Runic buff. Where you at? Yeah, Grips of the Valkyrie. Low perk to get strength and runic, but you get a 3-time stack on it when it does that, if you can get it stacked 3 times, but you're never going to be able to see what it is. And that's fucking irritating. Where you know when you get Gift of Fire or you do Flame Tongue and it gets the explosion to pop off, which if I was running runic, I'd probably run the Curse Flame before I did that one, because you get the actual stat to the runic buff on it. And then you same thing here with Grips of the Valkyrie, which I'd almost rather sacrifice that cooldown now and just get rid of it and OP Runic and Strength now to build the Runic up stronger. If they're going to do cooldown, they need to make it more beneficial to have it. They need to make the Runic, just the Runic abilities themselves, a little bit more fucking overpowered. That way it's worth using them without having a good stagger of, you know, cooldown to Runic or Strength to Defense or whatever. It's either Runic or it's cooldown. You just fucking pick one. And there's no real way to build a hybrid and make it beneficial to you. Not in my opinion. If you're going to, you want to run that amulet that I'm talking about, because then if you want, you can always refresh all your fucking cooldowns if you need to. But as far as that goes, I mean, I have no complaints with this game. This fucking game is dope. It's been fun the whole time. Fucking great story. Beautiful fucking storyline on it. Beautiful fucking graphics. Fluent gameplay. The fucking, they really took their time out here when they decided they were gonna go ahead and do things the way they do. Make the, I don't know. Maybe that's a fun kid. Oh man, he's fun to play with as well. Stay on top of it, usually keep it, just tap X and do your little stun run or do your little quick dodge. And you can almost chop him faster. Oh, I hate this fucking cut. Yeah. Just fucking face, knee, and gut. Oh, that bitch. fucking dog. Oh, I didn't get it. Oh, you gotta get hit twice, you damn shit. Man, all kinds of shiny shit over there on the ground. Well, yeah, I know. Low pincher. What's up, Bessie? What's up? Man, if I can get a build without getting my fucking ass beat. See how much damage I'm taking off of him when my emulation builds up, boy? Holy shit. I don't need it yet. Probably got the gifts of Apollo or the blades of Apollo. Use those and you'll attack faster and get health on hit. What damage he's doing to these fucking cunts.
A few extra to deal with back here.
Oh, now it's not on there. Okay. Right here. Man, I should have kept going. That was a badass fucking move, man. Clear all this stupid ass comes out. Fuck you. Not giving you the satisfaction of fatality. Look, man, my axe looks limp. Oh man, how'd you do that shit? A sneak attack trick. damn it. He's not dodging like he's supposed to, man. To time that shit perfect. No, you can't. I'm just banging on it, cuz. What the fuck, man? Every time I type X, he's just like a little bit. There you go. Now you go.
Gets a little easier every time, right?
Come here, boy. Been bad. Tiny little head off. Oh, you shooting arrows at me, boy? Shooting arrows at me? Man, you can do some sick ass combos on here too. That's what I like.